Franz Schubert wrote some of the most beautiful music in history, but almost nobody knows about the enemy who destroyed his life. In Vienna, music lovers adored Mozart. They respected Beethoven, but Schubert? He was ignored, dismissed, and pushed aside by the musical elite. And the worst of them all was one man, Antonio Salieri. Yes, the very same Salieri so often tied to Mozart. And for Schubert, he became an unexpected and devastating obstacle. As a young man, Schubert idolized the old master Salieri. He studied under him, trusted him, and hoped Salieri would guide his career. But Salieri thought Schubert's music was just too strange, too emotional, and far too revolutionary for the times. So when Schubert applied for important positions as a choir director and court musician, Salieri didn't just stay silent, he actively worked against him. He quietly told officials that Schubert was not ready. With that one simple sentence, Schubert's dream job vanished into thin air. He was blocked from the career he deserved. Without Salieri's support, Schubert had to go begging publishers to print his works. Most of them said no. They repeated the same old lines he'd heard before. Your music is too unusual. It just won't sell. Think about that. He wasn't rejected because he lacked talent. He was rejected because no powerful man stood in his corner. And in 19th century Vienna, that was more than enough to completely drown a promising career. He was left adrift with his genius unheard and unappreciated. Broke, depressed, and desperate, Schubert took any job he could find. He taught music, copied scores for others, and gave small, unnoticed performances. He barely had enough money for food, barely had the strength left to compose, and barely held on to any hope. Then illness struck. It was likely syphilis, and at only 25 years old, his health completely collapsed. His body was failing, and so was his spirit. Even as he grew weaker, Schubert poured all of his pain and suffering into creating one masterpiece after another. The haunting winterized song cycle, the legendary unfinished symphony, and the powerful Death and the Maiden quartet. He produced genius after genius, and still he was ignored, rejected, and unpublished. When he died at the tragically young age of 31, people simply remarked, a great talent, but nothing more. They had absolutely no idea what the world had just lost. Today, Franz Schubert is celebrated as one of the greatest composers who ever lived. But in his own lifetime, he was ruined by powerful critics, indifferent publishers, and the one man who should have been his greatest champion, Salieri. History may have forgotten his enemies, but Schubert's music, it became immortal. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to subscribe for more.